Welcome back to the show, guys. It's Michael B. We got some fun news to share with you today as AtGames are set to release its first new Zaccaria Magic Pixel table in a very long time. Tomorrow, we are getting Space Shuttle Deluxe on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K and the AtGames Legends HD. On top of that, Quarter Arcades have shown us a first look at their two new cabinets, Bad Dudes and Lunar Lander, and you guys know how I feel about Bad Dudes. And last but not least, we're going to talk a little VR on the channel, and we're going to tell you all about Steam and PC VR, but on your Meta Quest 3. So that's right, guys. I got a little bit of home arcade news to share with you today as AtGames are releasing a new Zaccaria Deluxe table tomorrow, Space Shuttle Deluxe. First new deluxe table from Zaccaria in a very long time. On top of that, Quarter Arcades keep coming out with arcade hits, accurate recreations of these arcade hits in the 1/4 scale. And indulge me a little bit here, guys. You guys know I kind of fell in love with VR gaming over the Christmas break, but one aspect of VR I never got into was PC VR, but I am into it now thanks to Meta Quest 3 and the Steam Link, and I'll tell you about my experience. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the video, guys. I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all that YouTube stuff. First up, if you haven't seen the news, AtGames are releasing a new digital pinball table for their AtGames Legends Pinball 4K and AtGames Legends HD pinball machines tomorrow. It's the first of the new Zaccaria Deluxe pinball tables. So these are the Zaccaria tables that are more similar to what we get from Zen Studios with some added graphics and extra gameplay features. That's going to be coming out tomorrow in a Legends single game pack, so $7 for the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K and $5 for the AtGames Legends Pinball HD. So I just wanted to start out with a look at the playfield itself. Of course, you've got a nice looking apron down here. That's one thing that I think AtGames and Magic Pixel do pretty well. There's your instructions and the apron, Space Shuttle Deluxe. Then, of course, you're going to get a very similar looking playfield and table style. All the Zaccaria games, especially the deluxe ones, have kind of similar feel to them and similar aesthetics with the ramps and different other playfield elements. So you can take a look there. It's modern, but it also retains that 70s Zaccaria style. So I like the space shuttle image in the background. I think that's a very cool visual. That looks very good. As for the shot selection, yeah, I mean, it's your typical Zaccaria stuff. It's one of those ones I have to play to know how it's going to feel. And lucky enough, AtGames did send me a code, which I'm going to be able to get into a little later tonight. So look forward to a video tomorrow telling you guys my first impressions. But, you know, it's so far, it looks like a very beautiful table. There you can see there's one of those 3D objects, much like with the Zen Pinball we're all used to, and what we've come to know from Zaccaria. So it looks like there's going to be a satellite up here that's going to be floating around the screen. I don't know if there's going to be any interaction with that. Again, you get these end pieces here that are very synonymous with the Zaccaria Deluxe tables. They seem to be in every one. Ramps, coils, everything looks pretty much the same. But again, the playfield looks really cool. I love this, what is it, solar system ramp they got going on there. I can't wait to see how this works. Then, of course, we've got what looks to be either an upper or a drop playfield. I'm not 100% sure. It's always very hard to tell when you're playing these Zaccaria games how the levels work. Like, they seem a little flat and it's hard to tell depth on them, but it'll be interesting to see how this one works. And of course, this table has a number of flippers, much like what we're used to with Zaccaria 1, 2 down here. We've also got another flipper up there, and then 2 flippers in the smaller playfield there as well. So for a total of 5. Very interested to see how this works. Let's take a look at some gameplay. All right, guys, so here's a better look at the playfield with everything going, and we'll get a look at some gameplay. Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, this looks like typical Zaccaria. Of course, the person drains right away. Maybe it's me playing. Kind of looks like it. Anyways, I like that loop there. That's a fun aesthetic. Then, of course, you've got, I don't know what it's called, but almost like a, ooh, look at that stall ball there. That is very interesting. Up into the solar system spinning mechanic that goes around that spinning ramp. This could be very interesting. That's a new mechanic I never saw before with the ball getting stalled right before the flipper, so that's very interesting. Ball physics look similar to what we're used to from Zaccaria. Overall, it's very colorful, lots of lights, lots of things going on. I'm interested in checking it out, and for only $7, I mean, realistically, it's not overall a huge, barrier to entry with picking this up. It's not like it's a $45 game pack. Yeah, so that's Space Shuttle Deluxe. Of course, it has many of the features we all know from the Zaccaria Deluxe tables. I mean, they all kind of feel the same in one way or another, definitely with the aesthetics, but this one definitely has a lot nicer playfield art, and it has some cool new mechanics. I like the new spinning ramps. I like the solar system thing that actually spins around when you hit it with the ball. I love the fact they have that stall before the flipper. I think Spooky's Evil Dead just integrated something similar on a physical pinball machine, so I'm interested to check that out. Overall, this looks like fun, and I'm really excited to check it out. And plus, I really like what Magic Pixel and AtGames have been doing lately with the Natural History Pinball Pack 3, and of course Sea of Thieves, which I absolutely love, so excited to check this one out as well. So moving on, guys, if you are a big fan of Quarter Arcades, big enough that you're in their official Facebook fan club, you may have seen a first look at their two next cabinets coming out. Of course, there's Lunar Lander, which a lot of people are excited for, and then there's Bad Dudes, which is one of my favorite beat-em-ups of all time. Suck it, Patrick Dubs. I love Bad Dudes. Anyways, they showed off a first look at these two cabinets, and I kind of want to go over the pictures and share some of the things I really like about it. First off, I think both cabinets are beautiful, obviously. Moving on, I love the Data East marquees. Like, we've all seen them, RoboCop, Ghostbusters, how they come out in this circular pattern. Like, it's just such a cool aesthetic. So very excited to see this in the quarter scale recreated. And I love the Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja marquee. I can't get out of my head the NES game and just calling it Bad Dudes, right? So the marquee looks great. I mean, look at the front of this cabinet. This is just absolutely beautiful. The bezel looks incredible. The drop into the screen. I hope we get a look at the control panel. There's a better look at the control panel, so you can see it kind of there. It's got a waterfall feature. You can kind of see the side art, which is one area where I think people are going to be a little bit disappointed, and that is it just has this Data East sticker on the side, which isn't the nicest artwork, especially when you got an all gray cabinet there. I know people are probably going to be a little hesitant about that, but this is arcade accuracy. This is exactly what it looked like in the arcade. So while a lot of people will be like, oh, couldn't you do something more with the art? I prefer the original. So it'll be interesting to see what people think about that. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think about them sticking to the original with the Data East art? And would you like to see what, like, not quarter arcades, what Iconic Arcade just did with Street Fighter, where they just kind of make up their own art based off some themes from the original. Arcade 1-Up's done this as well, so let me know. Me personally, especially with quarter arcades where these are arcade recreations, I would prefer they go with the original art. There's a better look at the control panel, all black, then with the Data East waterfall going in. I love that. Look at this right here, the sewer pipe, and then the water coming out for the water on the bottom of the bezel. Yeah, that is absolutely rad. I love Bad Dudes. I don't know how well this game is going to do, but like, I'm super excited to see them do this recreation. Yeah, and there's the control panel with all the buttons out there. If you're left or right-handed, they got you covered. Lit coin door, which of course is a nice touch. These of course are plastic faux. A lot of people prefer what New Wave Toys do with the actual metal coin doors, but Quarter Arcades saves a couple bucks, does a plastic one. And there's a look at the two cabs. Now, of course, they're also looking for feedback on the first look at their Lunar Lander cab as well. What they do is they show the early prototype images and allow the fans to try to catch any mistakes that are made on the cabinet or give any suggestions, which I really appreciate they do. It shows that it's a real community-driven product. There's Lunar Lander, and you can certainly see that one has a much nicer side art aesthetic than Bad Dudes. Probably a more iconic cabinet, but here we have the marquee. The marquee looks relatively good, and then there's the gameplay itself. The control panel on this is going to be really interesting, so I know a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing this coming. So there's the actual like thruster shifter. That's going to be interesting to see how that works. That's a first time, I do believe, for Quarter Arcades. It's also got volcano buttons. I love volcano buttons. There's the Atari branding on the control panel. Pretty accurate recreation. That looks really good. Look at that look down. I love these shots. This is like Cool Toy-esque in the video shots, showing, you know, the slightly blurred out marquee and then the really good look at the control panel. There's your coin door, very different from what we're used to seeing from Quarter Arcades. But yeah, there's the first look at Lunar Lander. Yeah, so there we have our next two cabs coming out from Quarter Arcades. Me personally, such a big fan of Bad Dudes. I'm bad. So I'm very excited to see that. I do think people are going to be caught up on the side art on this one, where there really is no side art other than that Data East logo on the side. I don't know why arcade companies did this back in the day, but hey, I mean, it's a lot of conversion cabs. Capcom did it, Data East did it, a lot of them did it. It was a cheap transition for arcade manufacturers, but you do really lose something on the mystique of an arcade cabinet where you don't have dedicated side art. The rest of the cabinet is absolutely beautiful. I don't think there's any question on that, especially that new rounded marquee that we haven't really seen in the home arcade space before, which I'm really excited about. Lunar Lander, absolutely beautiful. Not a game I'm the biggest fan of, so I don't think this one's going to be on my radar to pick up personally, but man, it looks really good. Anyways, last but not least, one thing I want to talk about, and please stick around, as a personal favor to me, because I do want to share a little bit about my VR journey with you. So you guys know I got heavily into VR just around Christmas time. What happened was, basically, we're on this whole tax-free thing in Canada, and my wife was like, what do you want for Christmas? And I really couldn't think of anything else because I couldn't get my hands on a PlayStation 5 Pro with a disk drive because I couldn't get a disk drive. So something called to me, and I said, you know what? I want to get the Meta Quest 3. Now, I wasn't sure if I wanted the 3 or the 3S, but of course, those pancake lenses on the 3 really brought it home for me because, honestly, the Fresnel lenses that were on the 2 really made the experience a little hard for me to enjoy. The other thing that made this a very necessary thing for me to pick up was I'm a huge Batman Arkham fan, and having a standalone dedicated game that's a must-have really brought it home for me and wanted me to pick one up. Now, in typical Mike B fashion, I never go into anything half-assed. When I do something, I go all in. I'm sure you saw that with my Arcade 1-Up collection, where I had over 30 machines at one point in time. But what happened was, when I picked up the MetaQuest and started looking into all the VR games and all the experiences, I also started hearing really good things about the PSVR 2. And although it had the Fresnel lenses, those OLED screens that were inside and the console-specific games like Horizon Call of the Mountain really called to me, and I wanted to experience that as well. So, of course, these were also on sale for $470. I got a bunch of gift cards from family for Christmas for Best Buy, and I decided I was going to pick up a PSVR 2 as well. So I added a third VR headset to my collection, already having the Quest 2 and the Quest 3. But one area of VR that I was still very naive to was, in fact, PC VR, and I had heard so many good things about it. Now, PC VR, I didn't need a dedicated headset. Once I got the PSVR 2, everybody said there's a specific attachment you need to pick up that'll make it possible for you to play PC VR games with your PlayStation VR 2 headset. So, of course, there is in fact a PSVR2 adapter that connects into your PC that allows you to plug your PSVR2 headset and controllers into your PC and experience PC virtual reality. The only problem is this thing has been sold out and sold out for a very long time. So I thought at that point I was a little bit defeated in the whole PC VR experience. That is, until I checked out my Meta Quest 3 and found out they actually have a Steam Link option where you can connect through wireless to your PC and stream the game from your PC directly to your Meta Quest 3 with all the controls working. And I was a little dubious because, my internet's not that great and I wasn't sure my PC would be powerful enough. But I gotta tell you guys, so far it's been a winning experience. The first game that I had to try out was, of course, Half-Life Alyx. I have heard everybody in the whole VR community, everybody in every VR video I've ever watched, say this is probably the most beautiful and best VR game to date. So I really wanted to try it out, even though I'm not a big Half-Life fan. I've never played any of the other games. I do have Half-Life 2 on my PC. I just haven't got around to playing it. But I really wanted to experience this. So, of course, I picked it up on sale and was hoping I would find a PSVR2 link cable, but I wasn't. But last night, I did play it through Steam Link, and I can tell you, oh my god, what a difference. It's the best of both worlds. You get your PC graphics, of course, depending on what your graphics card and internet connectivity is, that's how good the visuals are going to be. But for me, it was pretty much exactly where I expected them to be, and it worked really well. Of course, that isn't the only PC VR game I've tried through Steam Link. I also absolutely had to pick up Skyrim VR, Skyrim being one of my favorite games of all time. I don't play a lot of these action RPGs multiple times. Like, it takes a really special game for me to play it over and over again, but I have played Skyrim over and over and over again on multiple systems. And what the hell, I definitely needed to check it out once more in VR and be immersed in that experience, especially during the opening when that dragon comes over your head to start the game and blows up the village. What an absolute breathtaking experience to see that in VR. And it worked really well through Steam Link through my Meta Quest 3. So while there are a lot of games on the Meta Quest 3, a lot of them that are also on PSVR 2 and also on PC VR, a lot of people say the downgraded graphics on the Meta Quest kind of turns them away from playing it. So instead of possibly picking up a second VR headset to go experience these games on the PlayStation VR, before you do, if you already have a Meta Quest, why don't you check out the Steam Link option and see if there are better versions of those games out there for a better experience that you can also play with the absolutely amazing pancake lenses instead of the Fresnel lenses on the PlayStation VR. Of course, the PlayStation VR does have those OLED displays, but I'm telling you, ease of view through the pancake lens may be something you'd be a little bit more enjoyable with than instead of the Fresnel lenses. I don't know, it's up to you. So anyways, guys, that's just my quick news update for today. Space Shuttle Deluxe coming out for the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K and Legends Pinball HD tomorrow. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of what you've seen of the pinball game so far? And do you plan on picking it up tomorrow? On top of that, we've also got some Quarter Arcade news, kind of covered that in a lot of detail, but let me know what you think of Bad Dudes and Lunar Lander. Is one you're favoring between the two, or do you plan to pick either of them up? And I know I'm going to hear it. What do you think of the Bad Dudes side art in the comments? And then last but not least, the Quest 3 has been this big thing that is kind of, taken over a portion of the home arcade community a little bit lately. Me personally, I've been having a lot of fun in it, not just playing walkabout mini golf with friends and other people in the community. That aspect's amazing, but also in the first player gameplay experience. And I do agree the graphics are a little less than amazing on the Quest 3 with games like Skydance's Behemoth or, Metro Awakening. The PC VR or PSVR 2 versions definitely have better graphics, But there's a solution to that where you can still enjoy it on the very comfortable MetaQuest 3 with your controls, with your headset, through Steam Link, and I just wanted to make sure people were aware of that option. You probably already know more about this than I do, but I wanted to make sure you guys knew my experience with my, PC with my 4070 graphics card. I still had an awesome time. Anyways, guys, let me know below what you think of all these things. I really appreciate you watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.